from your heart. Hmm. Good. So today I have two whiteboards prepared, and it's all about the vortex. So we're going to talk about two main vortexes that our aura is actually accentuating and focusing in on: the pineal gland and your right in the center of your chest, your heart energy center, but also the physical manifestation of that is the thymus. As far as we're looking at the endocrine system, each endocrine gland pairs up and actually is the physical manifestation of that energetic vortex of an energy center. So your energy center all has a physical manifestation called an endocrine gland that is showing you what happens as that energy has actually been doing a beautiful sacred geometry dance, and the physical body shows us those things. So that's powerful in itself to realize. So if you know, like you've maybe had blood work done or something like that, and you know, like there's an area of your body, an endocrine gland that hasn't been, firing off the hormones that you want or things like that, just realize, wow, I can really work with that energy center and the light, the colored light that's usually associated there, as well as our commands that we're really bringing online here, that we can command things back into full working order. Because sometimes going to somebody who might have been giving you blood work suggestion, they might still have illness speak under their belt. They're not doing wellness speak. So wellness speak is where like thyroid health, instead of like an issue with thyroid, my thyroid health is awesome. My pancreas health is awesome. So having our medical system really upgrade to that is awesome. I'm so glad they're all upgraded now. We all can like also then look at, when I go to think about that, I gave you a lower world example of like, we might have some medical system and I can clear, cancel, delete what I just thought and upgrade it with a new command or a new spoken word from the heart, from love, from wholeness that says, I'm so glad that we have medical systems that are fully in wellness speak, right? And then that's what's going to be so. And we're going to talk about the power of all these things, especially the spoken word with the vortex. So my first drawing is actually down here, and it's looking at a hologram, like looking at hologram in a science lab, with a laser light. This is your laser pointing light, and 3 mirrors. So we've got a mirror right here. The blue are the mirrors, mirror right here, and the mirror right here. And when the light is beaming out, the mirrors, this first one's catching it and beaming it down here, right? And then it's also then hitting that mirror and going this way. This same light still goes forward to that mirror. And actually, I think in the science experiment that I took this from, this was a half mirror. So it was like picking it up to beam it down, but also had a sliver of it go out to this mirror. And then that points it down. And it was actually physically looking at a bucket on the image that I drew, but I drew a house. So the actual house is here, right? But yet what happens is those mirrors then create the hologram to show up of the house somewhere else in the room. So, right, does that make sense a little bit? Mm-hmm. I just wanted us to have an example like this, because then when I start talking again about our avatar, that which we're here in this game of life, everything both in the 6-foot aura, technology we're using through the avatar and projecting from this avatar, specifically focusing in, like I said, on the pineal and the thymus, is literally projecting out in front of me in this hologram. So it's not necessarily like this. I did give you a little bit of that Torus Field hologram medicine to then pair up to here, that your aura is a torus. And because it's literally projecting light from the pineal gland, and then all the other, your entire being, your aura itself, the soul you be, is pure light. So the light working through these vortexes and these energy centers, we've got the main 7 up your spine, but we've also got, tons of little micro ones out of our acupressure points. Yeah. You good?
Oh, I'm trying to do what you're saying.
Okay, good.
I'm noticing that, like, I know all of this, but the worry can be often my first, just that kind of little bit of worry. And so I have a couple things today that I really want to go a certain way. So I was just taking a moment to visualize it.
Okay, cool. And that's a great the fact they're bringing that up, all of this is about that. So it's so good. Okay. So this Taurus, my aura, hang on, that shelf, yeah. Where's my mind? So, this is essentially what your aura, the Taurus, when we say a donut shape, a physical, so you can see it. Like that literally is how we move and groove. If I was to give a little bit of, visual of how you move, the light show that you are moves around. And when you go to another level, you're not really moving at all. Seems like we're moving. Anyways, but you can see that's this shape, this Taurus. And so your soul is moving in all directions. This light that you be is moving in all directions. And having a light show projection out your pineal gland from your thoughts and your visions, blueprinting what we see in front of us from that thought, then the vibration, especially from the main vortex of our heart that we're going to talk about, and then all little micro energy centers, like I said, is then taking and stacking up light upon the shelves that you see in front of you and creating all that we see in front of us. All those stacked up light particles are the things that you've thought about and visualized. The tall order that you put in even prior to coming here in this incarnation, that's in your field, the Akashic record that you literally showed up as. You're like this record, and you're like, got all of these tall orders in the field waiting for you to desire them and then put them in. Put them into actual command where they stack up and show up in front of you vibrationally, right? So you have to be the right vibration. The vibrations have to be actually in that key note to actually have it materialize in front of you. And I'm telling us certain things in the sense of like somewhat linear thinking, only to keep giving us bigger and bigger downloads when you wake up at like 5 a.m. You're like, oh my God, this is what it's really going on. And it comes at a different level, right? So we're kind of like taking it apart. If you were that child that took apart the stereo so you could like learn how to put it back together, anybody? Paris? Okay. You were. So we're projecting light. We've got this heart that literally is setting up the vibrations. And our thoughts essentially is the spirit electricity. We are in this electromagnetic experience. This field is electromagnetic, and the thought in the light is the electricity coming down and out. And then the magnetics that pulls it right back in is all those feelings of the heart. So your heart is very magnetic, and your pineal is very electric. Essentially, it's going on all over the place because each cell has its own set of that same kind of terminology or setup. But what I want to get here is that we want to really start to understand the mechanics of these thoughts and these feelings. Because if I've got these belief systems that say, I want a new house, but I believe it's hard to get that house because it's too much money, then, I'm putting a big X on, the house actually projecting in front of me. But if I embody, we're learning also about embodiment here, that if I embody, I'm already in the house. I just close my eyes. I can see the house. It's like I'm going down a few little steps. It's like huge, tall ceilings. There's a kitchen over here. It's on the water. Like that, I'm really there. I've been working on this one. I can see it very clearly. I am there. I'm non-locally or bi-local there. Behind my two eyes, it is already finished. It has been created. I literally can see it. So I can embody seeing that house so that when I do have my two eyes open, that it literally materializes in front of me. Something, it doesn't always come from like, okay, I just, amassed $2 million to purchase it. Sometimes for me, this lifetime, it's mainly been coming from gifting, from unique situations. Hey, can I pay you to stay at my house? You know, all kinds of unique situations. These houses show up through my life. So it doesn't actually have to have, you know, a linear formula. But yet, if I'm already there behind my two eyes and I embody that frequency of feeling it more often, especially morning and night, when you're drowsy and your brain is in theta state or alpha, you then are the vibration for it to then literally show up in front of you. Someone's like, oh my gosh, you know, I'm leaving for 4 years to Sidonia, or, you know, and can you watch this house that has like really tall ceilings? You're going to love it. Yeah. And is there a blue door? Yep. Yeah. I know that house. I've been there. Same thing with the money. You know, if we've got beliefs that it's hard to have money or a certain amount of money, you know, then, you know, you're keeping it away. We have to recode and rememorize belief systems, which we're going to go over. And then, you know, love, people looking for love. So we need to think it and feel it. And that's the embodiment piece. You must already embody it because it already is. You just have to get matched up in your frequency so that it can start to come. And if it hasn't been coming and you've been really working at this, you've been like, you know, you've been in self-help therapy, called Ascension School for your whole life, you know, and you're like, what up? Why is this still occurring? Well, sometimes it's still occurring because you believe it's still possible for somebody else. You know, you catch yourself saying, oh yeah, they never believe that they can have what they want. You thinking about that, the other is you. There is nobody but you here. And so as we keep evolving our understanding of who we really are and what we're doing here to be the best self, to have the best time, and see everybody in the biggest party of our lives, all getting what they want. And as we start having that big party scene of like, everybody's affluent, everyone's abundant, everyone's happy, everybody's the eternal soul, they're having everything they want. It literally starts to magnify and multiply you having those things too. So the reason I brought that one up is because you're like, I don't know why I'm doing all the affirmations in the morning. I've got them post-it notes all over my house, you know, of like, I already live in the best house, best life, best lover, all of that. Why isn't it happening? The one example I just gave could be something you possibly need unbelief that everybody can't have it. Catch yourself when you're judging others that, you know, they always think this. And then let's look at this.
Couldn't it also be like that? It's just not divine time for that thing.
That's a great one to believe or unbelieve that it is divine time now. But if that comes through my window and I'm like, spirit, you know, higher self, like, why? And they're like, oh, it's not divine time, which is fine. We could stop there.
I mean, not like to have the best life, like being like, yes, I have the best life now. Yeah. And then that $1 million home or whatever.
Yeah.
That's there too. And I'm going to line up with that in the perfect time as well.
Yeah, so. I totally get it. And this is a good example. Meaning we can keep finding these jump points where we can actually go to where it can be today. But if I'm still writing on the belief and I even get downloads that it's not divine timing yet, then that's actually a belief that there is divine timing. See? If I believe in time and I believe there's divine timing, then that will work for this whole lifetime. Awesome. It has.
Or maybe like switch the word to like flow.
Right.
I've heard you use that. And
yeah.
Kind of talked about that masculine and feminine
yeah.
thing of just.
And we can look at that. So just my point is like every possible belief, even these awesome ones we've worked with and they start really dominating and like having the best life occur, we start to really settle into this really fun experience. We can still find places of instant. And the instant codes rely on us actually unbelieving even these things like we just brought up, like there. And sometimes with the instant mode, will say that make sure your order is really exactly what you want.
Right.
So sometimes that little bit of a lag helps you get clear with it. And then the biofeedback of it coming so quickly, I got to. So yes, there is the grand mind. We're all really are picking up each other's tall orders, which shows how we're each other's like helpers and angels. That when you get something, you get that nudge that we're in this grand play together. And so if like you hear, hey, give her that, give her that. And you're like, really? I love this. That happened this morning. I'm supposed to give this purse, that gold purse with the gems all over it. I'm supposed to give it to my friend. I really love it. But I can get another one. So I brought it, but then I get here and then Jana said she couldn't find her wallet. Did you find it?
Oh no, it's at home.
And I was like, maybe I should give it to Jana. Anyways. So we're going to order those purses and wallets here. But anyway, okay. Coming back. So before I move from this, whatever you are thinking and feeling is all, you're a vortex. You're this huge vortex and you're magnetic and it's always coming to you. And if you've been living your life where all the things that you didn't want were seemed like they were coming, or not all of them, but there was a lot, and you're like, what in the heck? You know, you had to have had the thoughts, either conscious thoughts or 85% unconscious, subconscious thoughts that are memorized in your field of things that you did need to go through for spiritual growth. Like you laid that track, you literally put in the order. Sometimes, you know, whatever you believe, but let's just say this is a possibility that from whatever you did other lifetimes, that weaving literally came in to this experience with those certain weaves. And so that record, that beautiful record, is just waiting for you to live it out. You can live it out here in the lower, let's say, or you can live it out here in the higher. And that's the spiritual growth, that your perception, that's what we're doing. We're playing with the possible perceptions that we can have until we get to that most high. And then it's funny with this dance of ascension. You ascend, you get the highest understandings, you have the biggest downloads, you understand everything. And then you forget it all. And you're like, oh my gosh, what happened? And sometimes even beyond like the typical amnesia we talk about coming into this incarnation for a lot of people, sometimes like even as a high level spiritual being, you go through amnesia just so you can like go to the next level of your aura opening up yet again. In that like complete no mind, like innocence. And all of a sudden you're, walking around naked down alt 19 with a bandana on your head. You're like painted yourself and you don't know what's going on, but you do. You keep coming to these next layers. And then you start to come back, like, what happened to me? And you start having these like merger of that version of you and the version right before that, where you did get all the codes and you knew everything. And you're like, can't we just merge those?
Think what she thought, manifested instantly.
Right. And so they're at source code. That's my daughters too. They're source coders. And they're literally sitting at the midline, whatever comes in, whatever comes in. There's no resistance.
Right. They don't know the difference.
Yeah. And we are all that too. And that's the evolution of the spine and the clean out of any of these bought into belief systems that have been doing well most of the life. But all of a sudden, like, wait a minute, there can even be yet another level to be lived here. And if you have the desire, you came here on fire to have that desire, to literally transfigure and then birth a new earth or birth a new existence from whatever your desire is. Because each of us, I feel, is here to birth the most amazing world you ever have. And it may be way different than everyone in this room. And everyone also is doing it. So there's no competition. We all get to birth the most amazing experience. And everybody can be included. But yet it may seem like they're all there, but we're all different versions showing up for you. Well, over here, I'm having a party and I'm wearing blue. And you got me in purple. And we're somehow doing it at the same time. Okay. So everything's coming to you. And if your thoughts have been low, we've all been there. It happens to all of us. Delete. I can up-level that. We feel amazing all the time. Hi. And sometimes, you like I said, you were like, well, I have really been working on this. I have been working on feeling amazing. Why? There's so many reasons, but yet most of it is sitting in the subconscious memorized, still needing to live itself out until you say delete and literally ask for that whole framework to be lifted and transfigured and brought back to source, to be downloaded in a whole new way, a whole framework, a whole new motherboard on that one, on that topic. Okay. We're going to get into this a little bit more, but I just want you to see that this is, everything's pulling into you. If you believe that everything is happening to you though, and it's not coming through you, by you, for you, and you believe in protection and that you need, you know, that there's out to get you, and look what just happened. Well, you can get a handle of that and come back into creator seat and be in creatorship, or you can stay out and have all the other programs just running, and you're just along for the ride. You're like drugged for the ride, having these experiences until you realize, whoa, let me pull back in. Where did I believe that could ever happen? Well, it may take you a bit, whatever topic it is. Did you watch a TV show about it? Did you watch a movie? Did you read a newspaper? Did you believe everything outside of you was true? Were you brought up on it? All the things that you find that were helping you to memorize that in your subconscious mind, you've got to delete it. You've got to get back into the source seat, commander seat, and say, okay, we're deleting that one. We're deleting that. Delete, 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 delete. Sometimes if you can't figure it out, one thing I'll do is I'll do and that, and that, and that, and that, and that, and that, until I feel like I can stop. If I can't stop and I'm on and that, and that, and that, and then all of a sudden I move enough to breathe that I can actually see what it was I wanted to call out. And then I'm like, oh yeah, that. And then I'm able to speak that which I'm commanding for it to be deleted and released. And I'm working on not using releasing anymore, because it's release, like re-renting it.
I use cleanse if that helps.
Let it go.
Right. We got 50 words for these, but all of it. And I did recode it for release to mean something else, but there was a slight version I could feel still there. And so if you slightly, let me make sure I'm not leaving if I go to this one. If you slightly think it, it's still there. You're finding those places, those belief systems, and it may take you on a drive. You know, I'm gonna while I drive, I'm gonna do some cleanup of my subconscious mind for the next week. I'm gonna just let myself think about everything possible that I need to recode with love and reoccupy, make a new choice that I now think these things with love, and I delete anywhere I chose it out of fear, and I'm reprogramming. I'm gonna reprogram for a month. Well, I was said a week, now it's a month. I'm going to reprogram on autopilot. You know, you can tell your consciousness, you can make a program before you go to bed of some good like autopilot statements that your higher self will go ahead and do defragging of your mind, of your subconscious mind, anything that's no longer serving you, that's based on love and your highest organic timeline, you know, something like that. But what I want to say is if you slightly think it still, and you keep getting closer to source seat, meaning you keep getting closer to living in the now from love, the slight thought of it will bring it. And you're like, well, I didn't think about it for myself. Or if you just think about it for like another, like I said, or that it still could exist, there it is. And it's okay. There's no wrong turn in all of this. But it's more for us to start to see how this projection game has been working the whole time. And how everything out here, as I get past my 6-foot aura, my 6-foot hologram, and the oversoul hologram, and in the bigger hologram of this experience that we find ourselves in, and that hologram, it's like a green screen. I say a lot like you're in a studio, and it's a mirror as well. And it's projecting back to you everything that you believe. So everything you're putting in is going to keep coming in. As you become super conscious for 21 days at least, saying your commands and affirmations in the morning and at night, and, you know, tape yourself and play them while you're in the car. You will, after 21 days, doesn't have to take 21 days, but from the timeline of using time, we can look at science with this. It's going to start showing up. All your tall orders, whoa, my gosh, they're all here. And if another one slides in that you weren't really programming, well, it's coming in to be digested. You're rising up, you're becoming commander again. And any of those big nuggets, they're literally like vacuuming back in through the central channel because you're magnetic. You now realize it's not happening to you, it's for you. And you realize that actually you're projecting all of this. So there will be things that actually want to come back through to be digested that could be part of the lower world that you had projected out there because you thought it your whole life. And so it's like, oh, she's on vacuum mode. She's vacuuming up anything that needs to be brought back. Let's go ahead and give her that one. Or it could just be part of, will come to time. It could be a part of just the natural progression of agreements that you have with others at a certain time. That's coming back in. Okay, before I move this board. So I just wanted us to realize when you say, I don't want something, the mirror hears that you want it. Right? We know that one?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The universe hears you actually want it. So you can actually, my daughter does most of her growing up. She'd be like, I don't want that. And she'd get it. Right? I don't want that. I'm like, how do you do that? You say you don't want it and complain about it. And you like defy all the things I would teach about in class. And you get it. And it comes to you. And it's because of this. Because it just comes, it doesn't hear the don't. It just hears it and it brings it in. And actually what you focus on that you don't like, actually you're going to get a ton of it until you no longer don't like it. You actually recode it so that you can think about it and love it. So if you don't want something, you can say, I don't want money. Well, money's going to start pouring all in on you. So I don't want equals I desire. It actually hears that you do want it. And equal or greater to is when you say have. So when you move from desire to have, that you already have it, because you do already have it, it actually can come in. And so we played with a game at our house. We got that 10 days ago. It was easy for our brain to think, yeah, I already got it 10 days ago. And it would start to allow whatever it is we were calling in to come on in. Right? And visualizing it. What it does for the brain when you use that kind of reverse psychology, one affirmation I love playing with, I don't know how I'm going to get it, but I'm getting it. You play with that left brain, kind of analytical, you're not going to get it, and the right brain of creativity and having it. And sometimes if it just seems too far off, you're calling in this new house and it just feels like, gosh, I can't fake that one until I make it. I really need something to kind of be a placeholder in the middle to get me there, a bridge, I should say. That's a good bridge. I don't know how I'm getting it, but I'm getting it. So you get to allow for the lower mind to have a say in this. We've got a lower world plane of existence, this grid. And, we may call this old Earth, 3D, as we start to really get and understand about dimensions, that it's much more than dimensions is what we've been talking about all these years. We've been talking about more like planes. Just to kind of simplify it, we've got old Earth or 3D, and then you got the 5D and the new Earth. And you want to jump up and be here. You want to actually start to have everything around you showing you those things that we've been talking about today. So what I wanted us to realize, though, is you may have these anchors that I talk about. And I figured out how to draw an anchor. So you've got thoughts, beliefs, words, and versions of people are the ones I thought about for this example today. So if you have low thoughts that you've had, you really, like I said, put your higher self to work tonight, the higher self you be for eternity at nighttime, to actually put a program, a command, or on your drive or something when you have nothing else to do, do some cleanup of these belief systems, right? We've got thoughts and belief systems, but when you catch a thought, it comes through, and it comes through at the weirdest of times. I'll have a barely thought that gosh, I haven't had any of those type of thoughts lately. And then all of a sudden, hot flash. And then one of those thoughts. No, get out. Delete. I clearly say delete. And I might transfigure it. I might go to the birds, or sky, trees, stars, something to go ahead and bring me into alignment of that which I'm pulling out of. Okay. But I just want you to be really aware. And we are human in this experience. And yes, you may find like, well, you're just going to think these thoughts. Well, guess what? I promise you, I hope I'm a living testimony that it gets better. Most of my thoughts are so amazing that I just like get blissed out thinking when I do think. It's so, put in your commands into your subconscious mind so that it gets memorized in the morning and then at night. Like take even 30 seconds. As soon as you open your eyes, I love my life. I love my life. Today's gonna be a great day. Everybody's gonna be happy and just amazing things, whatever, and just go on a little rant. Or if you've got something that you're really working on, putting in strong subconscious, type it out, read it, do an auto recording of your own voice, play it back to yourself. 21 days is all it takes. Spoken or sung, yes, singing it.
And then like maybe a movement that you're always doing. Like,
And a symbol, yeah.
or something.
And a symbol, right? So all of a sudden, every time you think of a sun, it means I love my life. Okay, so check yourself on the thoughts. Check yourself on the belief systems. You catch yourself telling a friend a belief system, you're like, is that really serving me anymore to even believe that? Do I need to repost that? Do I need to even say that ever again? No. Stop. I promise you, your life will not miss it. Neither will anybody else. And if then we get to this, versions of people. You got these versions of people that are anchoring, that keeping this lower reality still going, meaning you've projected and memorized people to be a certain way. So that's another up-leveling. I'm so glad everyone in my life is an eternal soul. They totally love like being in joy, and we love helping each other. Whatever that is, can you rememorize new versions of everybody? And if you get to somebody and they're like, they're still being that way, guess what? You just locked it in. You just said they're still being that way. Delete. And that's big for, especially you've been here in the classes, like to say something as like an example and then delete it quickly, or be in a therapy setting. So we always make sure we leave here if we're in therapy setting that you say what you want, right? And we can also recode, we can recode these seemingly situations that we don't like by saying what's right about it. So we could kind of work with it a little bit, shake it out a little bit, shake the rug out so that it actually does feel good to think about whatever scenario. Find what's right about it and ask your higher self, what's right about this? Well, that's their journey. They're still going, they're really going through a spiritual growth. Can you just hold witness and just hold space and not judge them or get triggered by it anymore, and literally just let them be that and laugh? Like, oh my God, like giggle at them. Oh, they're so cute. Right? They're so cute. And then words. Words are so important. We speak it out and it spirals out, and literally it draws that in or brings out of the ether that which we just said. So we want to jump. We want to be in the fourth. So if this was third, this would be fourth at the heart. And we want to literally quantum jump through our heart and start to lift our feelings. Let's do this. Okay, stand up. You don't have to. Yeah, you can stand. We're going to do some yeses. So imagine you're in a light, like little light particles See the little light particles are sparkling in here?
Mm-hmm.
They're sparkling, they're cold water, but they're not. They're cold light particles. Okay, so this is what you're going to do if you want to. You do not have to do this. But if you want to, we're going to do yeses. We'll just do like 7 or so. Okay? And it looks like this. Yes! Yes! Are you ready?
Yes.
We're saying yes to this upper world. Here we go. Yes! 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 One more. Yes!
Yes!
Woo! And then just give yourself a little tap, 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 tap. And then a light, just like loving on yourself. Light, light touch. Oh, yay. And then when it feels right, you can sit back down. So that's a challenge every day in a cold shower. You will have the best days ever. Okay. It equates to an orgasm.
Oh.
So orgasm magic also does the same. It brings about, it grounds into the field bliss and brings about that which you are thinking about at orgasm. So, you know, be mindful orgasming because it is creation medicine to create businesses, projects, babies, reality of that day, etc. And if you're using it with somebody, you know, whatever is going on in their life, you guys are winding it together. So if you can teach your partners to make sure they're doing the same thing at that beautiful moment, you will have a most high, amazing, sacred experience. Now, I'm talking about by yourself. When you do this with the light, with the shower, cold shower, it's the same magic, but it's of a higher order. Okay? So good. Okay. So we just lifted the energy, right? We got in our body. We got like, oh, like maybe your hands are kind of cold when you're touching your skin. And so we're now moving up here. This is our practice that we've been doing for 21 days or every day. You know, you're here. You're here. So new awesome thoughts, wholeness, light thoughts, new subconscious belief systems. Let me tie that back. All right. New loving, authentic wholeness, spoken or sung words, and new versions of people, memorizing new versions of everybody. You will then create anchors that hold you higher in a higher field of existence. Truly, there's no location. It's interstellar. Everything that we see out here is actually coming from within and being projected out, looking like it's very real out here. So, but you have a big field to project. We got a 6-foot aura, then we've got an oversoul, then we've got the bigger being that we're working together. This on this earth. If you've evolved from Earth and you're in Gaia, if you've evolved from Gaia, you're in Terra. If you're evolved from Terra and you're Arya, and then you're in Aurora. Like you're going to keep going as you pull up and hover for a while, and then you reground into the existence blueprint. So we're being invited to go to existence blueprint so that we can easily fold in and rebirth new codes that are not just for your soul contracts, but for the entirety that you're willing to actually see through the gate. So these anchors are huge. If you start putting this in the field and you also include in these things, everybody wins. You know, you start thinking about not just yourself and your commands and your affirmations. You put everyone always everywhere into it. We get to see like a higher level existence together. Then that projects on the mirror that we talked about of the hologram, but it also creates these anchors that literally make it easier for you to, if you do go down low, to jump right back up. So when we're in like community and, you know, something low happens, but yet we're in a community that knows to like hold space and maybe we even like stop and like bring light to situation. That's us, you know, literally jumping right back into this higher frequency. So this is essentially, when we're going up frequency, we could try to say that it's very, you know, one frequency, but it's so complex, right? But you get what I'm saying. Okay, let's check our time. Any questions on that before I have us do our practice? Questions? Realizations? Or, yeah. Right, because thought is the spirit is electrical. And those thoughts of those 4 pillars, like you said, are then creating a very strong new ley line system, right? And then when we're in the magnetic heart, aligned to those, because we're still keeping up with our practice, we're catching our own, like we're being really like diligent about, oh, I just had that thought, let's delete that. Oh, I just said that out loud. Let me actually delete that. And even if I seem like interesting in front of people, delete. You can see this lattice.
Mental ley lines.
Yeah, the mental ley lines of the ether. So this fifth is space, 5th density, not density, but
Frequency.
the word's escaping me right now. But the fourth state, meaning like our light particle, where we go to 5th state, we go to wave. We go to that ether. And so that ether net is these thoughts. And this is how like you can program the cell phone towers and things, and you can say, I love how they give off 528 hertz, and they're having everybody think really amazing thoughts. And catching yourself when you go down the rabbit hole of all the things that we could find wrong with this place, all of those things that you could find wrong with, you could literally like type in everything, whatever glossary, and you could recode all those to work in your favor and work in the collective's favor. And that's us reoccupying this plane in the octave of love, making new choices and new thoughts based on love, and catching our words, like I said. Oh, and our journals, anything we're writing down. If they're not serving you and all of it is, I highly suggest you take them out of the 4 corners or the bindings and let them go. Otherwise, they're infinitely projecting that reality like a very strong etched in piece of, stone. Used to do in stone. Now you do it in your journals.
And if they're already in the journal, what's the best way to get rid of them?
I like to pull my essence from it and everyone's essence, and I ask for it to transfigure back into love, and then I take it to the fire. Yeah, take it to the fire. It's such, right? Like you working with that full spectrum light that's rising up and also rising down is literally, if you're holding bliss, especially, and you're thinking about something that you're working on, and the 2 of you are doing it, it's amazing how quick things come in. However, like I said, we're moving into more of this like thought-based reality, how powerful just the thought itself, when we understand ether and we understand the actual plane of existence that it's not like, this is like 1% this 99%, even though it's interstellar, is all of this space that I'm actually playing with, right? I am the space. Yeah. Okay, so I want to do a couple of practices, and I'm first going to have us do some breath and expand our heart. But when we come out of this, I'm going to explain the practices that we're going to just work with a partner, and you're just going to practice 2 different types of this. The first one will be to realize that what you ask out loud or inside has to come back to you. So your questions are always being answered, whether it's coming on a billboard or you're projecting it on, someone in the grocery store line talking about it. You will project the answers somewhere in your field. It's more of starting to be aware that it's actually being projected right back to you. Yes, we can meditate and tune in and get the answers, but the answers are always right in front of you. You're projecting the whole thing, and it's waiting for commands. It's waiting for questions. And each question and command it hears, it's like, oh, okay, here. Oh, okay, here. And so if it feels like it's got this time, it could be belief in time, or if it is way out here on so-called time and you don't seem to hear the answer until like 2 weeks, typically it's because you do spend most of your time thinking about the past or the future. So you're actually not right here, right now, to actually witness and see it here, right now, midline. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I did an example yesterday of this when I was this was being shown to me, I said, you know, when's that house coming or something? Or is that the house? I looked online when I heard to look for this house that I can see. Clearly I'm there. And I'm asking that. And then a lady walks up with her dog. And it looks just like Gracie, my dog. And they sniff each other. And then she looks up at me and she goes, yeah, you'll know in 2 weeks. And then walks away. And I'm like, that's hilarious.
This like really happened.
Yeah, happened yesterday walking the dog. As I'm getting the download, I need to explain this to you all. That it's all sitting right there. And again, it doesn't have to come to the lady, but it's all being projected by me, through me, for me. So I could hear it within, but I can also notice that it's actually being projected right out in front of me. And the cast of characters are actually, like I said, like something printed. It's really easy for your projector to work with printed things. You're thinking it, you look, there it is. You know, you're thinking, oh, there it is. You know, now we've got even with the AI, the algorithm dealio, but you are the natural algorithm. You are the source coder. So we're only, for instance, with like social media marketing, when all of a sudden you're like, I just said that I wanted that, you know, and it shows up, hey, you should buy 5 of these, you know, non-skid, whatever. That AI is just mimicking our own source coding algorithm that we have from what we say. We put these orders in. So the first exercise will be for you to ask a question out loud. And I want the partner just to say anything that comes up. I don't want you to think too much. I want you to realize that even if it doesn't make sense, if your partner says something back to you, like just say blue, that to the being who asked the question, like, should I, you know, get that house on Zillow? And you say blue back to me. Maybe it's blue. It actually is. It's hilarious. I love it. I just want you to play with spontaneity of allowing yourself as the other to say whatever comes out. That makes sense? Mm-hmm. But playing with our partners, people who are willing to play this game, which is all of us here, I hope, that just says, oh, I love, you know, Jane and I did it earlier, like, I love your new wallet, how it always has $20,000 in it, and it like magnetizes every time we spend it more. You know, so we play with each other a lot here. And so I suggest that you start playing with each other who are willing to play that way and live in this state. Because we've actually done a disservice the way we've been creating reality, believing in the past and basing that creating the future. You know, telling stories about the past, which then predicts the future because you just told a story infinitely and projected it about the past. When if we just started focusing on the wish fulfilled and talked about that more often with each other, that we actually get to live up here where actually the way creation really does happen. The future is behind you and it's spiraling through your pineal gland. And this is the past in front of us, the shadow of the past. So if we could play with that with each other, like maybe as we're leaving, let's just have it be an assignment as you leave, like tell somebody, yeah, I just got this new car. And you're like, yeah, I love that car. Will you pick me up later? Or just something to play around as we leave and be on that bliss note. Can we do that? Mm-hmm. Good. Okay. Okay, let's tune in to complete our session together. Just take some deep breaths. Inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. Inhale into your belly, in your ribs, and your chest. Exhale through your mouth. Notice where your hands want to be for this. It feels like they need to go higher. Remember, the higher your hands go, they will help you lift. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Start to generate wishes fulfilled. Smile as you think about the most amazing rest of your day. People glowing, happy. Such a good life. So many blessings everywhere. Keep the breath and the smile going. Think about a few of those. Let a little sound out as you get excited as you think about it.
Oh, right.
Yes. Yeah. Good. And then inhale, bring it all the way in, squeeze your root, your belly button, your rib cage. Take it all the way up. Exhale, release. 2 more of those. Inhale, bring it all the way up. Squeeze your root, your belly button, your ribs. Use all that energy up. The top of your head. Exhale, smile, let it out. Good. 1 more. Inhale all the way up. Squeeze it up, 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 up. And breathe it all the way out and hold the breath out. You're going to be okay. Hold the breath out. Don't take a breath in. If you did, it's okay. Just hold it out. Just settle in. Be aware of the space. And then inhale all the way in. Exhale all the way out. Opening our eyes from our heart. Smiling. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.